to be honest and look at
You're
your
very
problems.
aggressive right there.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you get the first question.
That's right. You drove all the way here, I had to. You talked about being honest about your problems, even though the success may sometimes cover them up. So with your defense, what problems, if any, have you seen so far that need to be corrected for 5 weeks?
I still think we can be more consistent being gap accountable. So we run a lot of twists and games up front, and there's been times where we've gotten creased or gotten a decent run against us because the offensive lineman has sealed off a twisting or slanting defensive lineman. So I still think we can be a little bit better there. And then I think a fundamental that we talk about all the time is just communication. There's so much going on now in today's football where people are checking at the line of scrimmage, and when they check, they're trying to check into a play that they think is going to be good against the defense you're showing. So then you like to try to check as well, but that takes work in terms of communication, getting all 11 guys to get the change. So communication is something I think we can always be better at, and then just consistently being gap sound. I think that's a frustration sometimes is you've run a certain blitz or a certain game or whatever you've done, and they have gotten an explosive run or a positive run into a gap they have no business getting a run in. So things like that. And I think that happens probably more so with some of our younger players that we're trying to develop. So that's probably what I would say.
Dan, when you have more of a developmental practice like this, what are you able to get out of it? Are there guys who maybe stood out to you that you hadn't had a chance to see a whole lot of during the course of the season?
Yeah, a couple things you get accomplished. You're able to take some of the wear and tear and the pounding and the running off of the vets and still get some work done, which I thought we were able to get that accomplished this week. And then each practice we had a bunch of stuff with the young guys, probably at least 3 12-play scrimmages per practice with those guys. And then tomorrow we'll have a GA run, only GA run, which is great for them from a development standpoint. They get to run their own meetings. They get to come out and run their own practice. It'll be just the GAs and the non-travel guys. So that'll be really good. Some guys, I think that stood out. I think I would probably say Journey. Obviously we knew he could run, but being able to run fast on a track and being able to do it at this level, he's really showed something the last couple of weeks. He has the ability to break tackles, which he didn't know, because in high school he was just faster than everybody. Break tackles, make people miss. He's gained a lot of confidence, a lot of excitement right now with the older running backs with him. CJ Thorpe is a guy really since the day he got here. I think he's got a chance to be one of the more physical, intimidating blockers in the Big Ten. He's still got to improve in a pass game perspective. But there are 2 guys that probably jump out to me. On defense, probably Sutherland. Very physical guy, very mature guy, very detailed, very coachable. They're probably the guys that probably jump out to me the most right now.
James, now so far this year you guys have a lot more receptions, obviously. What tangibly now you've had a half a season look back on, do you think it is? Whether guys are recognizing routes better, they're reading quarterback size better, their position better, what would you say?
Well, I think Amani's a great example of a guy that's played a decent amount of football but is gaining confidence. I think the biggest thing is in the off season, our guys committed to it. In the past, it had always been the wide receivers and the tight ends on the jugs machine for an hour, every day, or for a half hour at the end of a lifting session or whatever it may be. And this year, you saw the linebackers doing it, you saw the safeties doing it, you saw the corners doing it, and with the wide receivers and different drills and things like that. So I think there just comes confidence with that. The more balls that they catch, now maybe the play in the past where maybe they would go for the breakup, they're more confident in going for the interception now. And I just think, no different than anything else in life, when you invest in something, it builds confidence that you're going to be able to get a return on that investment someday. And I think that's the biggest difference. Our guys really spent a lot of time in the off season, no different than the wide receivers and tight ends, on working on their ball skills.
James, how do you assess Ryan Buffalo's play?
Really good. He's a real mature guy. He's a great teammate. He's a great leader. He's been a guy that was a huge proponent of playing Etor Matos this year. Kind of wanted to take him under his wing and felt like he could help us this year. That was a kind of a hot topic discussion this year with the coaches on whether we were going to play him or not. Now, after losing Torrance, obviously we're glad that we did. I think that was a really important decision for us. And then he's also a big proponent of Shaka. He's just kind of one of them, vets that kind of gets it, the developmental aspect, the leadership aspect, the mentoring aspect of our program. And he's also a guy that, he's willing to give up some of his reps for Shaka or for Etor and things like that. So obviously he also creates some flexibility to be able to move inside in our wild package, our 4 defensive end package and things like that. So he's just a really mature guy. You wish you had 20 guys like him in terms of just the type of teammate he is, the type of guy he is in our program.
How much does that account for when you have a guy saying, I think he can help us out? Does that factor into the coaching decision, or do you guys kind of say, hey?
No, I think everything. I mean, what you're trying to do when you're making these decisions is you're trying to make a decision more than just what Sean Spencer sees at practice every day with the defensive line. It's what Todd Kolk was telling us about his maturity when it comes to academics. It's what Dwight Gold has told us, in terms of his summer workouts and his explosiveness, and then it's also his peers. Do they feel like he's ready? Do they feel like he's mature enough? Do they feel like he's going to be able to handle all those things? So yeah, I think, I'm not saying that's the deciding factor, but I think all those pieces of information allow you to make better decisions the more resources you have.
What are the 3 things you want to get accomplished from a recruiting perspective next 2, 3, 4 days, however long you're on the road?
Yeah, so we all leave. I leave right after this, fly to Texas. We'll be all over the place. Most of the staff, except for the coordinators, will be out all those days. I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and be out at games on Saturday. I don't think I get back here until 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning Saturday night. I won't get until Texas till 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning tonight. I think the coordinators have 1 less day. I think they're both coordinators, 2 less days. I think those guys are in some part of Friday to clean up some of the game plan stuff, to get a little bit more of a head start. This week we were able to get some of it, but we spent a lot of time, to be honest with you, on ourselves, not necessarily mission. We spent a whole day just on ourselves in terms of self-scouting, tendencies. One of the other things that we do is I had some of the staff members on offense and defense do a report on the other side of the ball. So rather than us just kind of looking at ourselves, have some of the defensive staff members do a report on our offense, see things that they're seeing. Because I think a lot of times, no different than you guys, you kind of write an article, you got a typo in there, but you've looked at it so many times you just skip right over it. Same thing with us, we're too close to our work sometimes. So getting a fresh set of eyes in there, I think, is important. So I like where we're at, but it's going to be important Sunday. Sunday's going to be a bonus day for us because typically on Sundays we spend half of the day grading the previous film, and we're going to gain that.
Is there anything you got out of that you didn't expect, or anything interesting that you were able to see with defense looking at offense, offense looking at defense?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the player schedule like, James, after Thursday? Do you allow guys to go home, or how do you handle that situation?
Yeah, the hard part is, so the veterans are off now from football until Sunday. The non-travel squad guys, they have practice tomorrow, and then they're off Friday, Saturday until Sunday. The hard part is, just because we got a bye week from football doesn't mean we have a bye week from school. So, they all start coming up with excuses that, they need to leave on Friday and miss class, and we don't do that around here. So that's always the challenge. It's just because we're out of football, you still got to finish your academics strong. And a lot of them say, well, my teacher said it's okay for me to miss class on Friday. Well, your teacher can't excuse you from class on Friday. You're going to be in class. We got some teachers that don't take attendance. We take attendance. So that's something that's really important to us. And then if they have the ability to get home, going home is fine. Some of them obviously live further away. It's harder for them to do that. So more than anything, I want them to do a great job when it comes to rest. I want them to do a great job when it comes to nutrition. They obviously will have some free time and be able to go out and enjoy themselves, but I want them to do that like gentlemen as well, and whatever they do it in moderation. So the most important thing is them go home, recharge your batteries, watch some film on their own. They should watch a half hour of film on their own each week, so each day, so when they come back on Sunday, they got really good questions. They're further ahead on Michigan as well. And then obviously we'll all be watching Michigan, on Saturday, and then I think that's going to be really good film for us. Indiana is probably better film for us than Michigan State, if that makes sense.
James, when do you and the coaching staff get to recharge your batteries, and how difficult is that to kind of balance the recruitment on the road during this bye week and kind of not get that time to breathe too?
Yeah, this week, we did that really during the week. The coaches, instead of our normal staff meeting at 7 a.m., we met at 9:30 every single day. We allowed the coaches to take their kids to school. You see this thing called the sun that comes up in the morning, which is really pretty amazing. But I think that's where we recharge it. The rest of the time we're out ripping and running. I would even make the argument sometimes with recruiting, you're trying to maximize that day so much because you only get so many days that sometimes it's more grueling. Because like I said, we won't get to where we're going. Some of the coaches are driving; they won't get to where they're going until 1 o'clock in the morning, and then you're traveling all day long. And for us, it's not like in the old days where you'd go recruit Maryland and just hit every school in Maryland. It's more you're going to see specific prospects all over the country. So it's pretty demanding. So we'll get our time off after signing day.
You talked about looking at the past 4 games for your next opponent. They played the Service Academy. They played 2 quarterbacks. They played in a hurricane. Does that make this weekend basically the only good film that you're going to get on this version?
Well, I think like always, you're trying to use games. This part of the season, it never works out perfect. So you're usually going back to the bowl game anyway. You're going back to your game last year with them. So I think at really this point of the season, a lot of times it's like that, where you don't have 4 really good games to use. So you're still trying to find the best games available. And it may be a 3-game breakdown because you may say you want to use the bowl game, but if you look, they've really changed from last year. Don Brown, their defensive coordinator, is big into their personnel, obviously, and does a great job. So, they're playing a little bit different when it comes to personnel packages this year than they were last year. So, I think that's somewhat standard at this time of the year. But you're exactly right. I mean, in a perfect world, they played Indiana, Central Florida, people like that. You're using that type of film.
Since self-scouting, have you seen anything that makes you maybe feel a little bit better about the field goal unit, or you kind of stick into you just think it's execution?
Yeah, I think we already addressed that. I think the one block that we had recently, I think that was the day I was having a hard time with my numbers. I think it was 9 kicks, and we did the right thing 8 times. And one guy, the way we do it, guys are responsible for both gaps, and he went both gaps for 8 times, and on the 9th gap, he went like this for whatever reason, and the guy came through. So I think I didn't do a great job of explaining that 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, but my numbers were off. But yeah, I think we've already established that.